Do you know how to write your dissertation? Because I don't, so let's find out together. Hi, my name is Laura, and if you've never been on my channel before, I usually do travel and lifestyle kind of content, day in the lives, stuff like that. But recently, I've started working on my master's dissertation, which is due in 6 months, and I've decided that it would be interesting to share this journey with you, whoever you are and wherever you are watching, because it's an interesting journey for me. I've never written anything of this size. I've never actually worked on a dissertation before, and I thought that maybe I would take you along this 6-month journey to writing my dissertation, so that maybe if you're thinking of doing, an undergrad dissertation or a master's dissertation or a PhD dissertation, that you could take away some of these steps. And I thought I could maybe bring you some tips and tricks along the way of stuff that I'm being told, of stuff that I'm trying out for myself to do with, the literature review and the data analysis and collection and stuff like that. So my plan is to basically tell you right now what I've gone through so far and what we have left until the deadline, which is March 3rd of 2025. So welcome. This is the first episode in this series. I am actually quite nervous because this is the first video where I'm actually speaking to you and showing my face. So, if you're interested in spending the next 6 months with me writing this dissertation, join the series. I'm gonna take you along through every single step and component of the dissertation, tell you what I'm doing, where I'm headed, and what my goal overall for each section is. To get the easy stuff out of the way, what program am I actually doing? So I am currently enrolled in the University of Bath. This is not who I've done my undergrad with. I actually studied at Queen Mary before, doing business and management. And I came to University of Bath because they offer a few master's programs that are online. They are fully online. You don't have to ever go on campus if you don't want to. And they are flexible, meaning they are part-time usually, and you can do them anywhere in between 2.5 years to 5 years. I am following the shortest pathway, which is the 2.5 year mark. And I've completed all of my modules before. I've done 2 years of this master's already. And since September the 2nd, I've started my dissertation module. Now, this dissertation module is also flexible. So if you're somebody who needs a bit more time to do it, or you want to do it even quicker, there's 3 options that you can choose when completing this dissertation. There's the 3-month pathway, there's the 6-month pathway, which is the one I'm currently following, and there's the 12-month or year-long dissertation pathway that you can follow depending on your personal needs, your arrangements, your work, your caring responsibilities, whatever it is. You just need to let, basically the program director know how long you'd like to spend on your dissertation, and they will arrange that pathway for you. There's multiple programs like this that offer the part-time and long-distance learning, but the one I'm specifically doing is called the Entrepreneurial Innovation and Management Master's course. And the way that this master's program, specifically the one that I'm doing, is set up is so that you have 13 modules in total, including the dissertation module. All of these 13 modules are designed as a wheel. I'm going to put this on the screen now, but as a wheel to kind of help you create a business model of your own for a business that you would like to start, or for a hypothetical that you would like to test out during your dissertation, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. Basically, each module builds on top of each other. You'll go from the fundamentals, and then you'll study customer interface and a bunch of other modules that basically build on each element of the business model canvas, which if you've studied business before, or if you know anything about business literature and academic literature specifically, you will know about the business model canvas. It's one of the most famous models proposed to help entrepreneurs kind of hone in on what exactly it is that they want to launch, what they want to come to market with, and how to do that in a few easy steps. And obviously, as with any master's course, at the end of it, you have to do a dissertation, which is basically the big essay that you will have to write in order to prove that what you've learned thus far is actually sedimented into your brain, and then you are able to take it into the real world and apply these lessons to whatever it is that you're doing professionally. For me personally, I am very interested in sustainability, and specifically in sustainability consulting. It was one of those topics that I really wanted to dive deep into, and so I thought, what better way to motivate myself to find out more about this and what's currently happening in the market than to actually come up with a business idea that focuses around sustainability and consulting services, and use it as the centerpiece of my dissertation, basically, because I used this business idea for most of my assignments that were to do with your business. The way it works is sometimes you have assignments that are surrounding existing businesses or existing literature in, the business industry. Or you are tasked to apply some of the theories and the models that you are taught on your own business model, on your own business that you're coming up with. So I've used the same business throughout my entire dissertation journey thus far and my entire master's journey. So I'm also taking this idea into writing my dissertation. It's the same concept I'm using. Obviously, for copyright and plagiarism sake, I'm not gonna tell you just now what my idea is, as well as I'm not gonna tell you exactly what my thesis is, because obviously my deadline is 6 months away, or 5.5 months away, and I wouldn't want anybody to, take my theme and my thesis and do it themselves. So what's the schedule for this dissertation, you may wonder? Basically, I started my dissertation module on September the 2nd. I then had 2 weeks to write up a proposal that was 10 to 15% the overall word count of the final dissertation. So if your dissertation is 15,000 words, like mine is, then you'll have to write a proposal that is 10 to 15% the word count of that. My proposal was due on the 16th of September, and from the 16th, I have 2 weeks to be given my supervisor. After that, I'll get in contact with them and schedule regular meetings for us to go over some of the concerns I may have, or questions, or need for guidance that I may have in writing this dissertation. I was actually quite nervous to write my proposal because I've never written anything of the sort, and I honestly thought it was going to be a lot more stricter than it actually is. And also I had difficulty kind of formulating my thesis. So it ended up actually quite being a very long thesis question. However, obviously, with it being the proposal, you can change it as your research goes, and then in the end, you can submit your dissertation with your final title and kind of thesis. As a rule of thumb, your proposal should include the overall map for your dissertation project. It should include every single step that you're gonna take, how long you're gonna take it for, what are the milestones, and when are you planning to achieve each of them, so that it ensures that you are staying on course, first of all, and that it shows your teacher that you are actually committed to doing this research and to actually contributing something to literature. So I actually have some of my notes on my laptop right here, and I'm gonna read you some of the few elements that I really needed to make sure I include in this proposal, and that I think you should always keep in mind when you're writing your proposal for any kind of dissertation like this. Your research question is what your dissertation is going to answer. What key problem in the literature have you found? What gap in the literature have you found? Or what kind of new, unpopular opinion you might have in the world of research? So if you see that a lot of the authors are focusing on one perspective on an issue, you can totally come in and be like, I have a different opinion. Let's see how we can make this a reality, and why I think that my theory is just as valid, or if not more valid, than all the other people that have written about this topic. Then obviously you're going to talk about how you're going to structure your literature review. So your literature review is basically a review of all of the main key points that you have found on your topics thus far. So what have other people written about this issue? Is it a new issue? Is it emergent? Is it already very developed and you're trying to develop it even further? So what is basically happening right now in your field of research? Then in your proposal, you also have to tackle methodology. So how exactly are you gonna collect your data? How are you gonna analyze it? Is it gonna be quantitative? Is it gonna be qualitative? Is it gonna be a mix of both? Are you gonna do primary research, or are you gonna get secondary data from other writings? What is it? And finally, timeline. You should be able to explain what your roadmap is. When are you having your milestones? How do you know you will have reached them once you get there? For me, I've actually split my 6-month journey to my submission date into 5 parts. So months 1 and 2 are going to be focused on literature review. Month 2 is going to be focused on data collection and analysis. Month 3 is going to be focused on the implementation of the business model that I have to do. Month 4 is going to be final tweakments, feedback, surveys, and anything that has been left last minute. And month 5 is going to be preparing to submit it, and actually hopefully submitting it a bit earlier than the actual deadline. Speaking of goals, what are you trying to achieve with this big commitment that you're taking in writing a dissertation? Are you hoping to find a new piece of literature? Are you hoping to debunk some myths? Are you hoping to change the people's view on something? Are you hoping to attract investment? Or are you hoping to just develop the field in a way that you find is unique but plausible and credible at the same time? My goal with my dissertation, for example, is to be able to have, at the end of the day, a solid business plan that if I ever decided I wanted to take this business to market and actually do it in real life, that I have the necessary market analysis, competitor analysis, the necessary insights that I would need to make this business successful and self-sufficient and make it run on its own. These things are important for you to determine what you want, not what your parents want, not what your teacher says you should want. What exactly is it that you are actually trying to get out of this effort? Because if you're going to spend however many months to a year to write this dissertation, you should make sure that it's something that actually will give you fulfillment and enjoyment and that will make you proud at the end of the day. When you see that dissertation printed out into a book, are you going to be able to say, I'm proud of this? Like, I did this. I contributed to literature in this way, and now I actually feel myself being more prepared in X, Y, and Z topics. Another thing, in order for you to be able to complete all of these milestones and get to the final submission, you should also be able to set SMART goals. I'm sure most people know what SMART goals are by now, but if you don't, SMART goals are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. You should be able to schedule your time and schedule your research and your efforts in order to achieve these SMART goals. You should know exactly what to do, by when to do them, what exactly you need to engage in terms of your skill or connections or networks or anything else in order for you to realistically get this dissertation done in time. Finally, make sure that you have a best friend or a teacher or somebody that you trust that isn't actually part of your academic cohort. So nobody on your course, none of your supervising teachers, but somebody that you trust to give them your drafts to. I personally trust my best friend the most when it comes to academic literature because she's done both an undergrad dissertation and her MA dissertation, and she is actually brilliant in any aspect to do with academics. So when I write something that is very long and that I know I'll probably lose my train of thought on, I always make sure that I'll send it to her, and she's always so gracious in helping me actually review it and give me notes and give me, feedback on what to do better and what I should take out, and to stay on topic and to stay relevant to what the goal is. So I would always say find somebody that you trust, that you could give your dissertation or your drafts to, and they could give you objective and relevant feedback. I know it is tempting to rely on just your supervisor, but in my case at least, I only have a 4-hour total time slot allocated throughout the duration of my dissertation to actually speak to my supervisor via call or Teams or Zoom or whatever. Everything else must be done via email, and my supervisor cannot actually see any more than just a chapter of my dissertation. That's obviously not a lot. It is helpful, but it is not enough for me to make sure that what I'm submitting is, on point and is great. So that's why I say always have 1 or 2 people that you go to that you know you can rely on and that will have your best interest in shaping your dissertation to the best of its abilities. So yeah, this is basically where I'm at in my journey right now. I'm currently waiting to be allocated a supervisor. So I'm not really too far along the journey. I thought this was the perfect time to start actually documenting this, because in the 2 weeks that I was writing my proposal, I was actually very, very nervous, and I couldn't even focus on, just getting it right for the first time. I actually deleted a draft the night before my deadline, basically, because I wasn't happy with anything that I've written. And so the night before, I actually wrote everything again from scratch. So I'm happy that I'm doing it now that the proposal is out the way, and I'm waiting feedback on that. So I will get back to you the next time I have updates on this, and then I'm gonna take you along through every single major milestone of this dissertation until I actually submit it in March. In between episodes of this series, you will still find my usual travel vlogs and my lifestyle content if you'd like to see that as well. But if you're here for my master's dissertation, definitely subscribe and, come back to this channel for new updates on my dissertation. If you are doing your dissertation yourself and you have pieces of advice, or if you have questions as well, leave them in the comments. I would love to chat with somebody who's actually in my same situation right now, because there's nothing better than just support system on something that we are working on collectively. So yeah, if you'd like to follow along this journey, if you are actually looking for an online accountability buddy, count me in. And yeah, subscribe, like this video if you liked it, and I'm gonna see you next time. Goodbye.